me Elder and goal setting. And something very simple. What we are saying is that there are 5 reasons why you need call a friend. I want you to click the subscription button. I want you to click the notification bell. Just let us roll. Now, what we're talking about today, something very simple. But before we go on to it, let's let me give for this study, and that is in the Psalms, Psalm 90, verses 10 to 12. And the King James goes like this: The days of our years are 60 years, and 10, and 70. And if by reason of strength they be 40 years, that is 80. Yet is their strength, labor, and sorrow. For it is soon cut off, and we fly away. In other words, even if we live to 80, we do it with little strength, weakness. 11. Who knoweth the power of thy anger? The psalmist was asking God. Even according to thy fear is thy wrath. And 12 is a more important reason for today's study. It says, so because of this knowledge that our years are short, so teach us to number our days, that we may have a heart of wisdom. So teach us to number our the world to play with. And this is the only life you are going to live. In fact, this is not a rehearsal. This is not a drill. This is the real deal. Since you don't have time to waste, you cannot afford to use the time anyhow. You cannot afford to use the time anyhow. You have to use it judiciously because it's spread over a short period, and there are so many things that needs to be achieved. Actually, if you have read my book on 15 things that you need to habits you need to adopt for maximum achievement, you understand that there are so many things a human being, by culture, by gender, I mean, by profession, is expected to achieve. We're just expected to achieve them, and there are no two ways about it. So we need to have a time limit for our goal because we have a short time, as we have read, 70 years. I mean, if you're going to 80, the 80 you don't have much strength and you have many sorrows in your joints and health issues, then you won't have time to achieve what you need to achieve. So that's the first reason. Count or count your days. You need to know what you want to do, how many they are, so that you know how to stretch them over a period so that they will not interfere with other things. Because remember, there are several things you are doing at the time, and for effectiveness, you need to structure them so that you have the needed focus and attention. So that's another reason. There are many things to be done, and they need to be arranged so that you know the things are done as and when they're supposed to be done. So that is the another reason. You have things you have to do at a certain period in your life. You can do them well in another period, and all of those things can be. We'll explain that more later. So the Bible says we should number our days. We should know which season we find ourselves in, which period we are, and live accordingly. And that is the major reason why you need to actually count your days by breaking them into specific time for specific things. Because as we said, you have goals for health, you have goals for your career, you have goals for your spiritual empowerment, you have goals for your relationship. Some of these things go simultaneously. And if you don't take care, what is easier for you, you do what is easier and leave what is difficult, which is rather more important to be done. Okay, so that's the second reason. There are many things to be done at the same time, so we need to set time so we can achieve them effectively. The third reason, however, is also very important. There is a thing called the right time to do something. There's a thing like that. Do not be deceived. There's a right time to do something, and when that time comes and you don't do it, it becomes more difficult to do it in another time. Actually, and this has been illustrated severally. They say that if you don't carry whilst your hair is black, you carry it with difficulty whilst your hair is white. Yeah. There are many people you know now who are doing far heavier work because when they were younger, they refused to do the heavy lifting of sitting down to study. So now they have to do manual labor, you know. So the right time for them to have studied was then when they were younger. But since that time has passed, now they have to take the next best time, which is older but doing something that pays less. So there's a right time to do something. I remember when I went to university, when I was doing my first degree, a man who was almost 60 came to finish up his degree. Unfortunately, one of those stressful examination period, this man put his head down and never woke up again. He died. The pressure on him was too much for a person of his age. He could have easily done that in his 20s, in his 30s, even in his 40s. But getting to 60, that was just too much. So he died. So there's a thing that's right. Don't let somebody deceive you by telling you that you can do anything at any time. No, there are many things you can do after a certain time. It comes with childbirth, it comes with raising children. Once you do them at a certain time, you put the burden on others. And you make those good things become burdens on others. So that's a core thing to do. And limit your time so that they will they will happen. What you want to do will happen at the right time. Okay, so that's the third reason. And I hope you're listening because these are very important things that will keep happening in your life as a youth. Now, the fourth thing that makes it very important to have time limit for your goals in life is because there are things which are best done in their season. Yeah, I talked about time, particular chronological time, divine time to do things. And there's a season when things are done. There's a season for marriage. There's a season to start a business. There's a season to start a church. There is a season to raise children. And that period, all the strength, all the grace is available to do them and to do them relatively far easier. Once you allow that period, that season, that set period for things like that to happen, you are going to have a difficulty doing it in another season, which is not meant for that. It's like being in your 60s and you're now raising kids who are actually, you're not raising kids. It's the stress of raising a young child will have a toll on you because it is not an easy thing raising a young child. The sleepless nights, they're running around, the constant watch over them and the rest. Your very physique will not be in the right shape for you to be able to do that job properly. Because to be the wrong season, you're the season when you are supposed to be taking care of grandchildren and not raising kids. you know. So it will make it difficult for you. It's not the right season to do them. So make sure that the first 25 years, which is the season for acquiring knowledge, you do acquire the knowledge. Do not postpone it. Do not, you know, whatever it takes to acquire the knowledge, you know. And when you start mastering what you have acquired from your 25 to 50, when you become a consultant, when you become a manager, when you become, somebody adept in the field, just apply yourself to the knowledge and you will become an expert. By the time you hit your 50, 45, and the rest, you're already an expert. And it takes the next, 15 years for you to actually teach others, pass the knowledge on to others, mentor others, bring others up, introduce new ideas. That will be the season for you to impact society, leave a legacy. And when you do it according to those timelines, 25 to learn, 45 to 50 to master what you've learned, 15 to 10 years to leave a legacy. You realize that your life is well lived. At every stage in your life, you are applauded. You have a good and faithful servant from the Lord, and then you have the applaud of men. Remember, that's how Jesus grew. Bible says that from the age of 12, when he became a man according to the Jewish system, immediately became a man and he could actually go to the temple. He started engaging the PhDs in the law and the Pharisees and all of them. He started engaging them. And from then onwards, when he went, he applied himself to knowledge. So Bible says he grew in wisdom and in the fear of God and in the fear of men. So men admired him because they saw him doing things in their season. And because of that, they saw him as a wise young man. It's only wise people who do things at a time when they are easiest to be done. Don't add more trouble to the troubles that are already in a day by doing things in the wrong time, or because you keep postponing, or because if when you are younger, it's like what I keep telling young ladies. If when you are younger in your prime, you think you're not good enough, you think it's when you bleach that you'll be good enough, especially when the bleaching is going to destroy your skin. So at the time that your looks would have attracted you, God set the time and the seasons, and they are fixed. Unless by some divine miracle, they don't change. The seasons and time don't change. Okay, so that was the fourth one. And then the fifth one and last one, and take notice of this very critically. We are talking about 5 reasons why you need to set a time frame for the achievement of your goals. Now, having a set time helps you evaluate whether you are succeeding to achieve your goals. If you're the type of person who's only complaining about things going wrong, you have no set time to evaluate your life. It's because you have no set time to assess whether you have achieved something or not. The time lets you know that 1 year, that 6 months, that 1 month, lets you have this evaluation, this introspection to know whether you are succeeding at this or that. If you because you say you achieved this about September, when September comes, you have to render accounts to yourself, to those who may be part of this goal. And when September comes and the goal has not been achieved, you will know it, you will appreciate it. Then you reevaluate how it was done and try to do it better next time. That is the only way you have an evaluation, by having a time to do evaluation. Many people are living a life of failure but are blissful and happy. I know like people like to say that a lot. So that but people are happy. No, many people are happy because they are unaware they are failures, because they have no standard to measure with. They have no goal in life. And because they have no goal in life, they have no standard. And because they have no standard, they have no time frame. And because they have no time frame, they have not observed that they have been failing at life. You know, the fact that you grew up to meet your grandparents and parents doing something does not mean that's exactly what you're supposed to do. Life is supposed to improve, not to remain stagnant. And so, in the abundance of ignorance, there's bliss. But that bliss is not going to achieve anything. It's going to suddenly hit on you when you die at just a young age of 35, just because of tetanus, just because you were not in the right environment where such a thing could have been taken care of. Please have a time frame within which you can assess yourself from time to time, assess your relationship, assess your marriage, assess how you are progressing at work, assess how work is going. Otherwise, over time, you just realize you become a failure without knowing it. There's no such a thing as when it is time, it will happen. Please, anybody who says that to you is a liar, does not want your good. Unless the thing is pursued and assessed, it will not happen. Life is not something which happens to you. Life is something you do, something you make happen. That is how come we see people praying and praying and getting nothing done in their life, while others don't pray and yet they get things done. Why? Because they have goals and their time frame. Whenever they assess their life and they realize they are not going in the direction of the goals, they adjust it until they get to do something. So it's best to face your time frame. that thing to be done at that right time, so that when it gets there, all of you indeed succeed. Look at the times you have set. If they are too tight, adjust them. Because anytime you set, it motivates you to do more. So set time and keep motivating yourself to do more. Don't be lazy. Don't set too long a time. You may even forget that you are pursuing a goal. Set a tight deadline and work with it. And with time, it will become a habit of yours to achieve goals. God bless you, even as you do this. Amen. Remain blessed.